The story of the atomic bombings on Japan in the final stages of World War II. The world witnessed an event of unprecedented destruction. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This act, carried out by the United States, fundamentally altered the course of history, bringing a swift end to the war and ushering in the nuclear age. The prelude to devastation thrown to the atomic bombings began years earlier, amid the backdrop of escalating global conflict. In the 1930s and 1942, Japan embarked on an aggressive expansionist policy, seizing territories across Asia and the Pacific. This ambition culminated in the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, drawing the United States into World War II. As the war progressed, the Allies gained significant ground in Europe and the Pacific. However, Japan remained defiant, unwilling to surrender despite the heavy toll of prolonged conflict. The concept of unconditional surrender was deeply ingrained in the Japanese military and civilian mindset, creating a formidable obstacle to peace. The Manhattan Project simultaneous. In a remote laboratory in the United States, some of the world's leading scientists were engaged in a secret endeavor known as the Manhattan Project. This initiative, driven by fears that Nazi Germany might develop a similar weapon first, aimed to create an atomic bomb, a weapon of unparalleled destructive power. Under the leadership of figures such as J. Robert Oppenheimer, the project achieved its goal. On July 16, 1945, the first successful test of an atomic bomb, codenamed Trinity, took place in the New Mexico desert. This explosion demonstrated the terrifying potential of nuclear energy harnessed for warfare. The decision to deploy the bomb mid-1945, with Germany defeated, the Allies turned their full attention to Japan. President Harry S. Truman faced a daunting decision: how to bring the war to a swift conclusion without incurring further massive casualties. The alternative to using the atomic bomb, a full-scale invasion of Japan, was projected to result in significant Allied and Japanese losses. On July 26, 1945, the Allies issued the Potsdam Declaration, calling for Japan's unconditional surrender and warning of prompt and utter destruction if they did not comply. Japan's refusal to surrender prompted Truman to authorize the use of the atomic bomb. Hiroshima, August 6, 1945. At 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, the B-29 bomber Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, over the city of Hiroshima. The explosion, equivalent to approximately 15,000 tons of TNT, devastated the city. An estimated 70,000 people were killed instantly, with tens of thousands more succumbing to injuries and radiation sickness in the subsequent weeks and months. The aftermath was a scene of unimaginable horror. Buildings were obliterated, fires raged uncontrollably, and survivors faced severe burns, radiation poisoning, and trauma. Hiroshima had become a living hell. Nagasaki, August 9, 1945. Despite the devastation in Hiroshima, the Japanese government did not immediately surrender. On August 9, 1945, a second bomb, Fat Man, was dropped on Nagasaki. The city's hilly terrain somewhat mitigated the bomb's impact, but it still caused immense destruction and loss of life, with over 40,000 people killed instantly. The aftermath and Japan's surrender, the combined shock of the two atomic bombings and the Soviet Union's declaration of war against Japan on August 8, 1945, led to Japan's unconditional surrender. On August 15, 1945, Emperor Hirohito announced the surrender in a radio broadcast, citing the unprecedented destructive power of the nuke bomb as a primary reason. The legacy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki left an indelible mark on the world. The immediate loss of life was staggering, but the long-term effects of radiation exposure continued to cause suffering for years. Survivors, known as hibakusha, faced ongoing health issues, societal stigma, and psychological trauma. Internationally, the bombings underscored the devastating potential of nuclear weapons, sparking debates about their use and leading to efforts for nuclear disarmament. The bombings also accelerated the onset of the Cold War as nations raced to develop their own nuclear arsenals. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were rebuilt from the ashes, becoming symbols of peace and resilience. Memorials and museums in both cities serve as reminders of the horrors of nuclear war and the enduring importance of striving for global peace. The atomic bombings of Japan remain one of the most controversial and consequential events in modern history. They ended World War II, but at an unimaginable human cost, shaping the geopolitical landscape of the 20th century and leaving a legacy that continues to influence international relations and disarmament efforts today.